Welcome to Vertical City. I'm your host, Lennon Richardson. During each episode, I interview one of the world's top experts in architecture, urban design, engineering, or ecology so that we can better understand and develop solutions for sustainable living. Thank you for listening, and get ready to join us on another groundbreaking and uplifting episode. Dennis Poon has nearly 40 years of engineering experience and has worked on many of the most iconic superstructures around the world. He received his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the University of Texas at El Paso and a master's in engineering from Columbia University. Dennis is known for applying state-of-the-art engineering techniques and technologies to every phase of his work, from analysis to design to construction and project management. He is currently the vice chairman at Thornton Tomasetti Incorporated and is in charge of their offices in Beijing, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Ho Chi Minh City. Dennis, welcome to the podcast. I wanted to start this off just by letting our viewers know how much expertise you have in one particular area of construction, and that's in super tall structures. And I've heard that you have actually been involved in 8 or 9 of the 20 tallest structures that will be completed by 2020. And I wanted to ask you if there's anything that you're currently working on that you're most excited about.
The one I'm quite happy and excited about is the just completed Shanghai Tower in Shanghai, China. That is 632 meter tall, 124 story. This project is so unique because it is separated into 9 zones, and each zone is separated by an amenity floor with an atrium which is 14-story high. Within this community floor, people don't have to go, or sometimes don't have to go all the way down to the ground floor to go to the restaurant, because the program is such that in the amenity floor, they will have indoor green gardens. Mm-hmm. They may have banks. They may have restaurants to service each zone. The lower portion of the building will be used as office, and then the upper portion will be hotel, maybe, and also some high-end service apartment. And next to this project, adjacent to it, is a big shopping podium with all the art, with theaters and so on. So this is a good example of a vertical city with sustainable design implemented in this building. They have all the gardens, indoor gardens, and they have, with the double skin, it is a lot of energy saving, recycling the hot air and the cold air wherever is necessary. And people can feel it. This is a vertical city because of because at the atrium at 3 corners or at 3 sides of this building. So again, what is the meaning of a vertical city? Why we need vertical city? Basically, it is an evolution of our economy. More and more people are moving into the city because of job opportunities and because of the technology. Less people will stay in the rural area or in the farming area.
Sure.
That means with more population growing in the city, we have to accommodate the growth of the city or urbanization. How do we do that? Yes, we have to build mass transit, right? But mass transit has to balance with the space available. So the only solution to accommodate urbanization is to go higher. Mm-hmm. For example, if you have 1 acre of land in the city, if you have a plot ratio of 32 times, that means you can build 32 acres of floor area in 1 acre of land. That will save 32 acres of horizontal spaces in the city. You can save it for green use or for public use and less density horizontally.
Yeah,
so that is why we think that with the technology available now, we can provide vertical city development in a sustainable way and benefiting the city.
All right. So the Shanghai Tower, what separates it from some of the other mixed-use buildings that we've seen? Is it the green spaces, or is there anything else that's particularly unique about this building?
Well, this building is I think it's a very, it has a double skin. If people know the geometry of the building, the exterior of this building is like a triangular shape with curved round corners. But inside the building, the office space or the floor occupied space is indeed a circular building. So the difference of an inside circular building with a triangle envelope outside create three corners of atrium space. And this will allow you every zone of 14-story or 15-story to create a public space atrium of 14-story. And that is so unique of its kind. And within the circular office space area, you have an internal skin. But then when you look out, you have another double skin that forms the triangular twisting shape of the building. That will become a double insulation for this building also. And it really defines the space in each zone, the interior space and the exterior space very distinctly. So this is quite unique about it. Other buildings will be the same as Shanghai Tower. Even with the other 8 super high rise, our company and our team is working on now. They are also separated into zones of every 10, every 15, 16 story zone, but they are not as much as separated and with the space defined as the Shanghai Tower.
I see.
For public use.
So is this building designed to provide all the functions that somebody would need for their day-to-day life?
Not necessary, because the owner and the architect are trying to make full use of this atrium and amenity space every 14-story to serve the tenants more locally so they don't have to go all the way downstairs. But again, you don't want to limit the choice of people. So they're still not fully accommodating every necessity. That, you have restaurant space and banking and shopping or whatever that will satisfy the entire 14-story and so on. It's not. But it is a supplement to their function, a supplement to the public function.
I see. So instead of trying to create a space where people would never have to leave, it's just making it more convenient to stay there so you don't have to leave as often necessarily.
That's right. That will cut down the use of elevator all the way down, limit the congestion. And also we're using double-deck elevators on that building too. So again, it eases the congestion and the energy saving at all. So it's quite unique. And even the Wuhan Greenland Tower that we're working on with Adrian Smith Architect, it is a 636-meter tall tower with 125 stories. It also has multiple use as well. And they at the corner area where we have the wind slot, they will have gardens, and therefore looking only because it's very windy, you cannot really walk out. So a similar sustainable design are also being planned for this super tall building that are being divided into multiple zones for such high building.
Is that one still scheduled to be complete next year?
Wuhan Tower will make at least another 2 more years because it's a huge project. And they already are going above ground with the foundations already. We have deep basement there. So right now, I think within the next few years, the Wuhan Greenland Super Tower, the Chengdu Greenland Tower will be completed in maybe another 2 more years. But what just completed after the Shanghai Tower is also another one of our projects. It is the Ping An Finance Center in Shenzhen, China. It is a very beautiful building with 600-meter tall, 118 stories. But this building is different from the other super tower because this is going to be the headquarters tower for Ping An Insurance Company and their subsidiary. So the whole building will be a commercial building with no hotel, with no apartment. But this is unique. But they still have different zones. Let's say every 18th floor, every 15th story, they have amenity floor for their internal use, for their headquarters use, and so on. So the concept of a vertical city still exists. And also, because of this financial tower, they also are in zones. They separate the elevator functioning in zones. So they should be able to rent different zones to different major companies. So again, this is another vertical city concept, but with different kinds of tenants.
Yeah, so it seems as if you're using the term vertical city and multifunctional building synonymously. Is there a difference between the two in your mind?
I think they have a lot of similarity. It depends on how you look at it, how you define a city. It can be a small town if you want to. You don't want to use a city. You can say different communities or different tenants use or different things. So, but people call it vertical city. Looks like that a city represents a large scale. But for a floor, for each floor plan of 25,000 or 20,000 to 30,000 square meter, it is not a big floor plate. We don't have that much a high density population, but it's still a substantial amount of floor area within each zone, like 14 story each, 15 story each. And the reason we keep on saying why we have 14 story and 15 story, because of the fire safety requirement, because it's very difficult to fight fire or fire protection for a super high rise. The ladder from the fire engine cannot reach so high. So we separate the high-rise building into each zone of around 50 meters, a zone, 50 meters between each zone, so that in each zone you create a secure refuge floor for people up and down to go into that refuge floor for protection during fire and for evacuation. And at the same time, we position a lot of mechanical equipment every 15 story in order to reduce the amount of mechanical equipment serving the entire 100-story plus building. So we try to use the opportunity of this building code fire protection requirement and the mechanical equipment in different zones. And also it fits the elevator demand as well. You don't want one elevator all the way. It's not every a floor of a 100-plus story building. So it's a win-win situation with technology, with planning, and with safety.
All right, so I want to go back for a moment to the Chengdu and the Wuhan Tower. Are those similar to the Shanghai Tower in that they're integrating green spaces into the building? Is that correct?
Definitely. First of all, all these super tower projects, the owner always required to have sustainable design at a different level. Both towers are also planned with curtain wall that is energy efficient, with the right reflectivity, with the right insulation, the R insulation value, and they have green space, and they have appropriate areas. But whether they want green space within the amenity floors, we don't know. But for sure, Shanghai Tower have green space within the floor. They plan a lot of plans already. But this is just the beginning. When the owner takes occupancy of the building, they will continue to upgrade those spaces as it sees fit. Okay, it is a process starting with this kind of amenity floors.
Mm-hmm. I see.
There will be more improvement to come, but the desire and the goal to achieve more green space and more sustainable design is really happening.
That's great. So you think this is going to be a trend going forward?
I think so, but it depends on the owner because it depends on the investment and the goal.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
If you have a good building, you can attract good tenants who's willing to pay for the space and for sustainable environment for their employees.
All right, great. So a lot of these new buildings that are coming up, they're obviously very tall buildings. Is anybody trying to strive to break the height limit that's been set by Burj Khalifa? Well,
for the height limit, to me, Dennis Poon or Thornton Thomas Fatty, structural engineers as a firm, to us, we and to our engineering community, the sky is our limit. We will continue to pursue our design experience in order to conquer the height. One of our projects, the Kingdom Tower in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, is more than 1,000 meters. Indeed, I work on a mile-tall building with a partnership architects a few years ago in the Middle East for a mile-tall building. And we have completed a certain level of design with confidence that we can achieve a 1 mile tall building design. But we just have to look for the right economy and the right buyer and the developer to pull this off. So technically, we should be able to design and build a mile-tall building within our reach and within our capacity. Whether people need it, it really depends on the economy.
I see.
Because it's a huge commitment to build a super tall building and to be supported by adjacent lots and the city planning how to work with this super tall landmark building. Because every landmark building will become an iconic landmark. It really will have a big impact to the local community and the whole city itself. They are very iconic usually. That's why you don't see too many super high-rise buildings in one city because an iconic is drawing attention and interest. It really brings up the adjacent communities.
Yeah. Yeah, the only place I've seen personally that has sort of a cluster is in Shanghai, where they have 3 now that are quite close to each other.
Yeah. The Shanghai, with 3 super towers together, it was going back to almost 20 years ago with the master planning of Poon already. They foresee Poon is going to be an international hub for commerce. Okay, so they foresee the necessity for 3 major high-rise, 3 super tall buildings, accompanied by all the adjacent and supporting buildings to be a vertical city zone in that area. And then you can see they get filled up pretty well. Right now the 2 current buildings in Pudong is having a good occupancy rate, and Shanghai Tower will be successful in the years to come.
So with these future buildings that we're seeing that are going to be approaching mile high, is it going to be using the same building materials, namely concrete and steel, or are we going to see anything else being used?
Well, I am sure new construction materials will be introduced that will be more durable, stronger, and less maintenance and easy to erect. For example, if you want to erect or put up all these curtain wall and these steel members for a building so tall, you want to use as much prefabrication as possible and lighter material as possible and stronger material as possible. And we have technology to deal with that now. Right now, we have a lot of material that are related to fiber carbons and extra strong fiber carbon frames, and also different, even rebars. We have different kinds of rebar, not necessarily using the steel reinforcing bar. We can have basalt rebar, which is a byproduct of rock, of the basalt rock that we can make full use of that. The basalt rebar, BASALT, basalt rebar is only is 1/7 the weight of a steel rebar, and its capacity can even be stronger than rebar. So there's a lot of room for structural engineers and architects and mechanical engineers to use our new products. We just need the right developer putting us together and to support certain look-ahead projects to continue to be innovative. Technologies are always available.
Sure.
Ahead of us. It takes time to use them and implement them with experience.
So I've heard that carbon fiber isn't used very much because of the fire hazard that it poses. Is that something that's being overcome with these new technologies?
Not that I know. People will think that fiber carbons will be sustainable, will be more, you have to concern about the fireproofing. But at least right now we have a lot of fire prevention system that can overcome it to give it a fire protection similar to the other system. So again, you have a challenge, then we will come up with a solution to overcome the challenge.
Okay. And what about graphene? Does that have any implications?
I'm sorry?
The new material that's being called graphene.
Graphene? I know they have different commercial names, but each one, some material may be suitable for application for automobile, maybe for automobile business. Some of them may be. It depends on the scale of the forces. Okay. they are the anerotrope of carbon in the form of two-dimensional, okay?
Yes.
And again, the graphene is a kind of fast, strong, and cheap thinness material. But again, there are many competing materials to do that. I'm sure we will find, or this new product will find the application in the building or in the building products within itself.
It's all really quite exciting. And I'm also curious if you think that this 3D printing will have any implications.
Of course, 3D printing. Our office is already working on projects related to 3D printing for building components already, which we are working with a couple of clients already, but we have to keep it on a confidential basis. We have done successful testing and everything that 3D printing will definitely be part of the upcoming construction products company use for different parts of the building itself, or even become one of the major structural components for load-bearing walls and so on, and for slabs and so on. So this is another technology application of this 3D printing. We're not printing small sculptures anymore. We are basically printing building components with different shapes, more with more quality control.
It's amazing.
And we're working on it. Actually, we have a team in Thornton Thomas City office working diligently on this 3D printing real applications on building products and building components. You'll hear from us soon.
Okay. Looking forward to it.
And I look forward to go to Guilin to see you.
Yes, well, I'm going to be in Guilin for 2 more weeks, and then I'm actually heading off to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia next, before returning.
All right.
And then I'll be back at home.
I'm sure, technologies and engineers are looking for the right team with the developer and the owners to put all the innovations together. We can have it, but we don't have a customer or don't have a client. It is difficult.
So all these buildings that are being constructed currently are they're single buildings, and I'm curious if you think we'll see anybody constructing multiple skyscrapers and then tying them together with sky bridges so that there can be outdoor spaces that are mimicking the ground floor but suspended in the air. Do you think that's something that's going to happen?
Well, to have sky bridges connecting towers together, we have done it in Kuala Lumpur, our Petronas Tower. Remember the Twin Tower, we tie them together with sky bridges?
Yes.
Yes.
Does that have an outdoor space? Can you access the sky bridge from the outside as well?
The one in Kuala Lumpur is just a bridge, pedestrian bridge. But particularly we're working on another project, but that is not a super tall building. We are tying multiple residential buildings together. We have a project, we're tying several 50-story residential buildings together. But in order to save the space, we have a bridge connecting these residential building or hotels with a very wide bridge and multi-story bridges that we can put the exercise room there and also the swimming pool there on the bridge. And then plus another floor, we use it for pedestrian communication between pedestrian means between towers. So it is happening, because right now when you think of a swimming pool, you are not going to have a 10 lanes for swimming. You can have 4 to 5 lanes for swimming, and we can put it on the pedestrian bridge, or sky bridge between buildings. And on the lower floor of this bridge, we can put an exercise room. People can ride their treadmill or bicycles and see the scenery of the city.
Yeah,
it's being done now, but not necessarily. So whether you have 300 or 400-story building tied together, it depends on the real estate market, to whether you can bear with it. It's expensive to build super high-rise building because you're paying a premium to go vertical.
Yes.
For the foundations and so on, and the columns.
Definitely. In addition to the convenience of being able to transfer between towers, do the sky bridges, do they add any structural stability?
I would not count on the bridge that much for structural stability, but it depends on the structural system. If we have to bundle several components of different towers units together, we can make this so-called link structure or link bridges to be structural. It depends on the individual design of each project. It is possible, and I can bundle them up if I just like a bundle tube, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So it is one of the possibilities, but we have to work it out with the whole project concept and approach and the program.
So is it just convenience to transfer between the buildings that's mostly driving this, or is the having multiple means of egress, is that something that's also a factor?
Well, actually, this kind of sky bridge can be useful to for people from one bridge to go to the other bridge, and also we can provide another means of fire egress.
Yes.
And also for evacuation, it's another means too. Not only for the convenient use or not only for amenity use, because the certain tower on the upper zone has certain emergency situation, this link bridge will come in handy to help the other towers, in addition to structural efficiency or the usage of the building. You just have to package all this information for your readers to understand it step by step. But for sure, with my 40 years experience on high-rise building and long-span structures, we are confident we can achieve the goal for vertical city and the height and the foreseeable height. We are going to overcome them.
Well, there certainly seems to be significant reasons to do so.
Exactly. So we cannot outpace ourselves with the economy and how much we can digest.
All right. So you've done a lot of work in China. And this, I want to ask you a question now that's going to be a little bit different than what we've been talking about so far. But I heard somebody else speaking about these different buildings, the different skyscrapers that are being built in China, and levied some criticism against them because this particular individual felt that as if the buildings were simply copying what had been done in the West and weren't really taking into consideration China's rich history and culture, and thus far we're not really creating a unique Chinese architecture. Do you feel that statement is accurate?
No, not accurate at all. Okay, because I think the design team and the owner are quite cautious about their architecture and the planning of their high-rise building. However, China is coming out from a development country into a world economy. So their design of the building has to fit the new technology and the new tenants' requirements, like the IT people requirement, open office plan, sunny and airy, bright environment. So you're not trying to force your designer to design a pagoda in order to call it a Chinese, okay?
Sure.
However, the architects and ourselves and the owner are also paying attention how this super tower, at least some of the architects, will design the tower to address some of the culture or the heritage of China or the city. Now, just like our Chengdu project, it is like a crystal shape. In Greenland, the Chengdu Greenland Tower is a crystal-shaped tower with multiple facets, with the multiple facet facade. The idea of it is that because it was inspired by the snow-capped mountains around Chengdu.
I see.
And in order to reflect that culture there, of course, how you take that inspiration and modernize it, it is up to individuals' imagination.
Totally.
But we're not going to say, we use wood, we use tiles and everything just to impress it.
I see. Yeah.
I don't think developers like to copy from each other because they like to have their building to be unique. Sure,
so that it can be an icon.
So we're doing another big project in Hefei, Hefei, HEIFEI, in Anhui province, ANHUI. It's another 100-story building. The building is shaped like a bamboo shape with segments and segments, like a bamboo tower. But it is not like a bamboo. It was inspired by the bamboo Chinese culture shape. So people can be inspired by that and try to address the culture there. But it's not like really painted green and bamboo shape.
Mm.
So you can Google, I think the Hefei Evergrande Tower, Evertrande, the developer.
All right, I'll definitely take a look.
Evertrande in Hefei, China.
It's
So
really
I think it will be exciting if for us as design professionals and a structural engineer, we need these kind of jobs to support our innovation and to support our employment.
yes, yeah. Well, sure. It's definitely most of the large construction projects are taking place in China these days, and that's likely to continue because they are developing still quite rapidly. It's really interesting because most of these projects, at least the really large ones, are formed with partnerships between Western firms and China. And I'm curious if you think that that's something that's likely to continue over time going forward, or are the Western firms going to be slowly phased out as China gains the resources, skills, and expertise necessary to do these large-scale projects on their own?
Well, there's no doubt that in China, the local professionals there are getting a lot of experience already through all the last 20 years of growth and new projects in China.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also there are many foreign educated Chinese professionals are working in China or returning to China to work over there. However, I believe that with the IT technology and the ease of communications, the economy is still a global economy. Same as innovation and creativity will be global.
Mm-hmm.
We'll continue to have competition among ourselves. And competition is good.
Absolutely.
You will continue to learn more from each other. So with this spirit and the challenge among ourselves professionally, I don't see any way that they will our niche will disappear as long as we can do better than the others, or the others can do better than us. So their salary are also increasing. Their pay scale is also increasing. Their overhead is increasing because everybody in the old days think, oh, it's cheaper to do something in China or make something in China. But the difference is getting smaller and smaller when the economy grows over there as well, and especially when we are doing all these higher end products.
Yeah, and in fact, a lot of manufacturing has already started to move to places like Vietnam and Thailand simply because Chinese labor is getting more expensive.
Yeah, and I would like to see that our industry will be booming together with the economy, because every time when construction and real estate industry is booming, the economy is usually growing. That has to come hand in hand with that. So let's hope that we'll continue to build better environment, either through government policy or through the better economy with innovation.
Mm-hmm. So
you're right. I'm not, because if you see just take an example. If you see right now recently the cars, you don't need a driver anymore. They can be self-driven.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining that what you just said is in between buildings, we may have a lot of sky bridges for the cars to be flying around on these bridges with no driver. We just have to, the highways, maybe just like our movies many years ago, will not be on the street level anymore, maybe on a higher level.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of scale, how you implement this technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe from building to building, from this and that, we can have interconnecting people movers or self-driven cars to transport people with each other. So you never know, right?
Yeah. I mean, the future holds many possibilities.
Yeah, I hope we are healthy enough and live that long to see our innovation.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're already seeing so much. So even within the next 10 years, there's going to be so many changes. It's going to be amazing.
Yep.
Excellent. I wonder is there any final message you have for our listeners or anything you want to say before you say goodbye?
Well, I basically, the vertical city development will continue together with more innovation and technology progress. It will be, actually, it is a necessity for our urbanization trend right now, because in order to have a healthier and a better environment, but we all are paying attention to sustainable design and to balance the vertical city development with other programs. It cannot be done only by itself or by one individual process. It is a whole city planning.
Great. Well, Dennis, thank you. It was really excellent to talk with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So see you soon in New York City.
I certainly hope so. Thank you.
Okay, good day. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Vertical City. Learn more about the Vertical City concept and continue the conversation by visiting our website, verticalcity.org. I truly hope that you have enjoyed this episode. If you did, please subscribe to our podcast, leave a review on iTunes, and most importantly, share Vertical City with your friends and colleagues so that together we can create solutions for sustainable living. I'm Lennon Richardson, signing off for the Vertical City team. See you next time.